Howdy folks, I am Monstrous Minotaur, madly menacing Machiavellian mice.
I'm Amber.
And here are more Machiavellian mice for us to menace, because why not? And folks, we have a live stream coming up today. For more information, please see the end of the video. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Planning International Travel Without My Children? So here's the reality. I have two kids. They are now 14 and 16. I had 50-50 since I got divorced up until a few months ago. 4 years ago, my ex-wife got remarried and her husband advised her to start a custody dispute. I spent $165,000, basically my life savings, fighting for 4 years. For the record, my ex's wife's father is very wealthy and paid all of her legal bills. This comes into play later. The older child told the court-appointed therapist that I want to live with mom and only see dad every other weekend. The younger one said that they wanted to do 50-50. The younger one then changed their mind and said, well, maybe 70-30 with mom. I just want the court stuff to be over. Well, I went to trial and my attorney fought, but the judge said, given the children's age, their preference will take precedence and we won't split them up, as it will break their sibling bond. Well, my wife and I have been planning some travel with some of her friends, her sister and their husbands. It includes 9 days in Spain and France. They picked the dates. We got the tickets, the kids found out, and have been asking me, we want to go, why can't we go? I told my children this is something that we planned and we saved for. They asked if this was an adults-only trip, and I told them that it wasn't, and that their 15-year-old cousin was coming. They said that it wasn't fair that we couldn't take them, as they know that we could afford it, and that it would be their only chance to travel internationally. I told them that you're young adults now, you chose to spend the majority of your time with your mother, and you got what you wanted. But choices have consequences. One of them is that you don't get to join me on things like this. They're both very upset, and my younger one said, you're just mad that we'll have more fun at mom's house. I'm afraid that I'm being the jerk here. I'm happy to be wrong, but my gut is telling me that what I'm doing is fair. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, I think OP's a jerk for the way he handled the situation. Now, of course, you're not obligated to take kids on a vacation, but instead of framing this as, oh, it's happening on your mom's custody time, so I'm sorry, or something like that, he's making it punitive. Like, well, you chose your mom, so now you're getting punished.
Yeah.
Or, there are any number of ways he could have handled this and just been like, that don't like make it a punitive situation.
Well, that's the biggest problem I have here, is it does feel very punitive. This isn't a, calmly explaining to them, well, I would love to have you along. Unfortunately, this is during the time that you're going to be with your mom, and, given our track record and communication, I don't think that she's going to allow you to come, right? I mean, maybe even phrasing it that way would be bad, because then it kind of sounds like it's blaming the mom for it. But, just some variation on, it's during your mom's time, and I don't think,
It wouldn't be fair to take you during that time.
Yeah.
Or just, we can do something special on my custody time, but, it will be shorter to accommodate that, or something like that.
Yeah. And, I don't really buy their excuse that this is that they're not going to be able to travel internationally, because if their grandfather is wealthy, then surely they could be like, grandpa, please, can we go to the Mediterranean? I don't know, wherever kids want to go these days. So yeah, I just think that the way that OP kind of phrased this was a bit on the retribution type end of things, and not so much a kind and loving parent type of understanding.
And also OP is burning bridges here. If the ultimate goal was to have a relationship with your kids, it might be nice to extend into all age brands. I mean, remember, these are literal children you're talking about who were dragged through, it sounds like, a drawn out custody battle that they just didn't want to have to deal with anymore. You and your ex-wife put the kids in the middle, and that shouldn't happen in divorces. It sounds like the kid, the one kid who went to 70 literally just wanted the whole proceedings to be over.
Yeah.
And so keep in mind, these are literal children. They have been through a lot. It doesn't mean they don't love you. Maybe try treating them with a little more kindness if you want any kind of relationship with them going forward.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Centrifuge.
I mean,
the wheel has spoken.
Yeah.
The trip you'll be taking is to the centrifuge.
Yes.
And Impossible Rain 4727 says, you're the jerk. You made it about their choice rather than their unavailability. You could have simply said, your mother has a court-ordered custody over you during the days of the trip. I can't change that. Instead, you went to the blame route. That is petty and jerkish. Don't blame your children for the difficult position that you and your ex-wife placed them in. They didn't choose the breakdown of their parents' relationship. I think that was really well said. And Solid Bed 752 says, or he could have discussed with the kids and their mom before just excluding them. OP is totally a jerk. And Impossible Rain 4727 says, good point. I just had assumed that she wouldn't want or trust her ex to take the kids out of the country after the bitter custody battle. That's actually what I was kind of assuming. And that's why I was like, well, she probably wouldn't want to have the kids out of the country, right? All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, I'm a 23-year-old female and my husband, a 26-year-old male, hates how easy I have it. Hey, everyone. Me and my husband started dating 3 years ago. We got married after 2 years and have a 7-month-old son now. He makes really good money and I am a stay-at-home mom. I always thought that I would end up in a happy marriage with a big family, but it seems impossible with my husband. I come from a good family, finished a good education with good grades, I'm attractive, I'm kind, and pretty much every person that I interact with immediately likes me. This isn't me trying to brag, I'm just trying to give some context. My husband, however, didn't come from a good family. He dropped out of school at 16 and he was never able to keep friends for a long time. He's very introverted, and I never held this against him. I love him just the way he is. Well, when we first met, we immediately fell for each other, and we were both looking for marriage and kids. Even though we were just dating at that point, the dynamic shifted from him paying for everything in the relationship, and he didn't seem to mind. I did have a job at the time, but I ended up quitting because he had to stay at the other half of the world for medical reasons. I was by his side. Well, after almost a year of dating, I noticed that he sometimes made mocking comments about me. For example, when someone would give me a compliment in front of him, he would make me feel bad about it later. He would make me feel bad about never having to have to struggle in life and how he's an idiot for making my life even easier by paying for our rent and groceries. One time he also said, "You must think that you're better than everyone else," after I got my hair done. I enjoy taking care of myself, but I'm not weird about it. I don't even post on social media or bully people. So I got pregnant and we got married. When I entered my second trimester, I was still not showing at all. I wasn't almost showing throughout the entire pregnancy and I kept my body. I didn't even have any symptoms. It was nice, but that made him even more mad. He seemed rather excited about me having to go through the struggle of pregnancy and finally knowing what struggle is. When he noticed that the pregnancy was going perfectly, he started talking about the birth, how it will be the worst pain in the world, and he seemed really amused by imagining me going through that. He even talked about me probably having an emergency and that they would have to perform a C-section. The birth went smooth. I only pushed for a few minutes. I didn't need an epidural, and our son was born healthy. I'm extremely lucky. He then went on to say how the next 2 years of my life will just be crying and diapers, and I will lose myself. Well, guess what? I really enjoy motherhood so far. My body hasn't changed that much. I still exercise and I eat healthy, and we hired a nanny for a few hours a week so I can get some me time. I still look like myself. I'm just a bit more tired. He heavily encourages getting nannies and everything out for our child since we can afford it, and it really does help. But now he's even more mad about that. Recently, he called me a bad mother for leaving our son with a nanny for 3 hours while I get my nails done once a month. Overall, he just hates how easy everything comes to me. I'm extremely grateful, and I did try communicating with him about this, but he doesn't even have a reason for why he thinks that I deserve to feel struggle. I realize that I'm slowly losing feelings for him, and this isn't what a happy relationship is supposed to be like. All right, folks, what do you think?
OP, I am so sorry you ended up with this person. It sounds like OP has a very, is the type of person who just embraces life as it comes to her.
Yeah.
And that can go a long way. But you shouldn't have someone who actively wants you to suffer.
Roots for her to suffer.
Yeah.
And delights in it.
Exactly. He's anticipating her being in agonizing pain and taking joy. When I have mild pains, it's not like Brian's oh, you're suffering, if anything.
Allowed.
If anything, I know that like when I'm in agony, Brian would just take that from me if he could. And like a good partner should be by your side, supporting you, wanting you to live your best life, wanting you to be happy, not wanting you to be miserable and suffering.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I just couldn't imagine it. I mean, I haven't had the easiest life in the world here, and the thing is that I wouldn't want other people to suffer just because I suffered, right? Like, I mean, that just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't look at other people and say, oh, well, I had a hard time growing up, I had a rough childhood, and say, I wish everyone else would be like that, right? That's just mean, cruel, and mean-spirited, right?
That's the thing. Like, I wouldn't wish suffering on a random stranger. Why would I wish it on someone I'm supposed to love?
Yeah. I mean, I think that I would want the very opposite of that for everyone. I want people to have the best possible lives that they can have without struggling and without, having, bad things happen to them. I don't want to see bad things happen to people. I don't know who does, other than this guy. And, like, it really frustrates me a lot because OP here it's seemingly trying to do the best for, her partner. He's doing all these things and he's blaming her for his own decisions, right? Like the whole, taking over the expenses and stuff like that. He decided to do that. That's on him, right? But he's blaming OP. He's holding that over her head, and her sitting by his side while he was dealing with medical issues, and he doesn't view that as a struggle for her in some respect. I mean, that was a struggle for her. And I don't know. I just think that he is really very self-centered, a very selfish individual that doesn't deserve OP, to be quite frank.
Yeah, well, and again, like, I think it does sound like OP has had a lot of advantages, but it also sounds like some of it is her mindset.
Yeah.
In that she just kind of, like, accepts this is how life is now and I'm going to make the best of it. And mindset, like, obviously can't fix everything, but it can go a long way toward helping you have a happy and fulfilled life. And it just seems like he's a fundamentally unhappy person, and he wants everyone else to be just as unhappy as him, and he can't stand seeing someone who is kind of embracing and enjoying life.
So, yeah, I just think that OP really needs to find a different partner. This guy needs therapy. He needs massive quantities of therapy. I mean, I don't know if he could spend the rest of his life in therapy and still get over everything that he needs to. But he needs to get this chip off his shoulder and not start treating OP like a human and not like something to delight in waiting for her to suffer, I mean, I hate to say it, but this is one of those kind of situations where I feel like he might even someday become dangerous with the amount of resentment he seems to hold for OP.
Well, that's the concerning thing is, like, again, he is literally delighting over the prospect of her suffering and then getting furious when she's not suffering.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think OP should get out while the getting is good. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Wanting My 4-year-old Daughter to Join a Soccer Team Simply Because I Don't Want to Get Up Early Every Saturday? My husband says that he thinks that I'm being selfish, and I am. But I'm being strategic here. I'm a mom of 2 under 4. I'm currently 5 months pregnant, and I'm a kindergarten teacher, and I have narcolepsy. So needless to say, I'm tired all the time. Saturday is the one day in my week that there are no set plans, and I like it that way. Why do I need to ruin the one day I get to choose what I want to do? Just so that my 4-year-old, who probably won't know what she is missing, can go and play a sport that she probably isn't really ready to play anyways. She has years to pick up a hobby and extracurricular. I just don't see the point right now other than to stress me out even more than I already am. Point blank, I'm just tired and I don't want to, so I can't even say that it's not selfish, but we are allowed to be selfish on some things, and I just feel justified because I'm already at my personal capacity. My husband won't even be able to help with the games every weekend because he sometimes works weekends, so no, I'm not interested in putting my kids in a sport right now because I will likely have to flake on those days that he works. Also, we live in a very hot state, and I have zero interest in spending more time outside than we have to. My husband's reasoning is that he wants her to be athletic, and mostly that she will make friends and have fun socializing. I would rather help her socialize through play dates and not a weekly commitment to be on a team. my in-laws have made it clear that they agree that it would be a good thing for her and that I'm being unfair. My family thinks that it's not important right now at 4, but say that it would be fun for her. So what do you think? Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, if OP's husband and mother-in-law, it's that important to them, or his parents, I forget which ones, they can work on coordinating transportation for soccer. It would be, I feel a little differently if the daughter had like requested this on her own. Then I think it would be really a good idea, if possible, for them to try and find some way to coordinate this, even if it was coordinating with another family, like doing trade-off weekends or something. But it sounds like the daughter isn't any part in this. You know, it's OP's husband deciding, oh, I want her to be athletic. Wait until she gets old enough to pick a sport that she likes, or if she likes sports at all, and find other ways to help her socialize. Like, socialization is important, but it doesn't have to be soccer.
I think a great compromise would be if OP's husband and their parents, his parents, were able to find a way to make this happen if they really want this to happen. OP is under a lot of stress and pressure, and actually, maybe if the daughter was at a sports thing, then OP might have a little bit more time on their hands on Saturdays, right? And this might be a win-win type of situation. As for whether or not the kid should be put into sports at 4, kids really can develop a lot of skills at very young ages. And so it's really actually very good, I think, to get them involved as early as possible in things. And the socialization probably wouldn't hurt either, right? But I agree with Amber too, where if she expressed an interest in this, I would be much more invested in saying, well, you really should make an accommodation to try and get her to this if it's something that she really wants, right? And I do worry, maybe she gets to this this soccer game, this soccer team, and it's something that she doesn't like. Are they going to force her to continue to play, right? And I would think that would be a worst case scenario where they shouldn't be forcing her to do something that she doesn't actually like or enjoy, right?
Yeah.
So I think, again, I don't think there's anything wrong with them wanting to have their one day of the week. I do think that it is, unfortunately, a little selfish, but I mean, sometimes if you're at your breaking limit already, OP knows their mental health, then this might be what they need to do to keep their mental health in check, right?
Right. Well, it also doesn't sound like OP's husband is pulling his weight, because OP is a teacher, like full time. I understand husband works weekends sometime, but is he pulling his weight in other areas, or is OP the one who's being shouldered with all the childcare? And it seems like he and his parents have no problem foisting more responsibility onto OP without taking anything off her plate.
Yeah, and I think that OP really needs to sit down and make that very clear as well, right? So I understand, OP has a medical condition. They have certain accommodations that are going to be necessary. And clearly, he probably knew this going into this relationship, that she had this medical issue. So he should be respectful of that and help her out in other ways to make sure that if he wants certain things for his children, that he picks up that slack to allow them to have those opportunities. But I do think it's a delicate situation.
Well, it certainly is. And again, I think, the most important things is making sure the kids are supported in what they want to do.
I agree.
Not trying to mold kids into what you want them to be. Certainly it's good to expose them to a lot of things. But they can get a lot of that exposure from gym class and kindergarten. You try all kinds of different things in gym.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What might you call a quick sketch of a small dog?
I would call it a hot dog.
A poodle doodle.
A poodle doodle?
And it's National Doodle Day.
I doodled a poodle that was a hot dog.
I mean, you could do that. It's also It's also Hug a Vegetarian Day.
So hug a vegetarian, but don't hug a vegetarian wearing hot dogs. Unless, of course, they're veggie hot dogs. But you can hug a vegetarian who's wearing hot dogs that are probably vegetarian hot dogs.
I mean, let's leave the hot dogs not in the fashion attire realm of things.
I'm going to make myself a hot dog suit. It's going to just be like me draping hot dogs all over myself.
Please don't give me a hug like that. Whether they're veggie or not. It may be Hug a Vegetarian Day, but you still need consent from the vegetarians.
Or do I? I think the title of the day gives me all the consent I need, Amber.
No, it does not.
And I have Mega Mint. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Fantastic Friday, folks. Can you believe it? It's Friday, and we have a live stream coming up. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on children and parents and their relationships.
Don't punish kids for making difficult decisions in difficult situations you push them into.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.